皆さんおはようございます。Thank you for joining me. This is the article of the day for September 2nd, 2025. 2025年9月2日、夏1日、2日の今日の記事でございます。Here we have our title, which is ミニストップ25の店で嘘の消費期限を書いた。So, mini stop.A very popular convenience store chain. And then we have this all in quotes here. 25の店で. So at 25 stores, this day is saying at these 25 stores, 嘘の消費期限. So 嘘 is a lie or falsehood. We can use no to attach this to another noun. And that kind of means a false something.So something that's not true. So here we have 嘘の消費期限, a false expiration date. So an expiration date that was not correct. を書いた. So the past tense of 書く to write. So there were products at Ministop that they had been putting the improper expiration date on. The improper or a false expiration date was written on these products. Okay, here's our vocabulary from the article. We have 店, a store or establishment. 嘘, a lie or falsehood. 消費期限, an expiration date. 食べ物, food. 会社, a company. 本当, real or true, 時間 time, and 売る to sell. We also have a bonus word. This does not appear in the article, but I think it's kind of an important thing to keep in mind. So just like in English, a lot of countries will have an expiration date where you should not eat the food past this date. There's also something called a best by date where you can eat it past this date, but it doesn't, you're not guaranteed the same quality, right? It might not taste as good. So an expiration date is 消費期限. You can kind of see the kanji, the date that you should consume it by. And then 賞味期限 is the best by date. So this bonus word is 賞味期限. This is the date that the best flavor or taste or quality can be guaranteed. So for our grammar point from this article, we have a verb in the te form followed by aru. So the description here is a little complicated, but overall it's pretty simple. So basically we have the verb action has been performed and the results of the action are still present.So let's look at some examples, and that'll make more sense. So there is some suspicious luggage that has been placed in front of the bathroom. 怪しい荷物がトイレの前に置いてあります. So we have 怪しい荷物 is some suspicious luggage. トイレの前に, so in front of the bathroom.置いてあります. So the verb 置く in the te form followed by あります. So this means someone, we don't know who here, but someone has placed it there and it's still there. So we know ある is kind of like exists, right? So you can kind of think of it, okay, someone has done this action and it still exists the way that as a result of that action, it still exists in that same state.So the luggage has been placed there and it's still there in front of the bathroom. And then we've got 危ない、絶対に入ってはいけませんと書いてあるぞ. So this is someone telling another person there is a sign that says danger, do not enter. Now what it is we have 書く, the verb to write something in the te aru here. So someone has written this and it's still written there. So it's written that 危ない danger or dangerous 絶対に absolutely or by no way 入ってはいけません You are not allowed to enter 絶対に入ってはいけません You are not allowed to enter no matter what とquotes that whole thing 書いてあるぞ It is written that way. So anytime you have that teiru form, just means an action's been performed and the result of that action is still in effect.
私たちが店で買う食べ物にはいつまで安全に食べることができるか書いてあります。これを消費期限と言います。コンビニのミニストップは店で作ったおにぎりや弁当などに嘘の消費期限を書いていました。本当の時間より遅い消費期限にしていました。会社は昨日、東京や大阪などの25の店でしていたことが分かったと言いました。消費期限を14時間も遅くしておにぎりを売っていた店もありました。会社は店で作った食べ物を売ることをやめています。
Okay, let's get down to breaking this article. Let's get down to breaking this article down. Right. 行きましょう。
私たちが店で買う食べ物にはいつまで安全に食べることができるか書いてあります。
私たちが店で買う食べ物には So this niwa tells us our main topic here. So on the food, this ni is kind of like on here. So on the food, 食べ物 that we buy, 買う at, で the store, 店 and then that 私たちが is us. So 私たちが店で買う食べ物 the food we buy at the store には on that food いつまで up to when 安全に safely 食べることができる able to eat. So until when can we safely eat it? か This is an embedded question using the particle か書いてあります. So this is the verb 書く in the grammar point that we talked about. So 書く to 書いてあります. So is written. Something is written and it's still in that state. Something was written and it's still in that state. So on the food that we buy at the store, there is written how long we can safely eat it. Until when we can safely eat it is written on this food.
これを消費期限と言います。
これを So this, and then o is telling us it is our subject or our object in this sentence. これを消費期限 the expiration date と言います。と言います is saying that's what it's called. So これを消費期限と言います。This is called the expiration date.
コンビニのミニストップは店で作ったおにぎりや弁当などに嘘の消費期限を書いていました。
コンビニのミニストップは So mini stop, which is a convenience store. コンビニのミニストップは店で作った So 店で at the store 作った作る in the past tense. So things that were made at the store and this is modifying おにぎりや弁当など onigiri or bento, so rice balls or boxed lunches that were made at the store. などに on things like that, 嘘の消費期限を書いていました. So 嘘 lie or falsehood being attached to 消費期限 with the particle no, both nouns. So when we use a noun to describe a noun, we'll use the particle no. So a false or an incorrect expiration date を書いていました. So 書く to write in the ている form. So they had been doing this. There was a period of time where they were doing this. 書いていました. They were writing these false expiration dates on the rice balls or the box lunches that they made at their stores.
本当の時間より遅い消費期限にしていました。
本当の時間より So 本当の is the real or the true 時間 time より more than and then 遅い so which is later. So when we have より遅い that turns more than late or turns it into later. So 消費期限本当の時間より遅い消費期限 an expiration date that is later than the actual time にしていました. So this is にする. When you're making something a certain way, you can use にする to make it that way. So they were making it an expiration date that was later than the actual time. And then the ています ていました here is they were doing this in the past. There was a period of time they were doing this.
会社は昨日、東京や大阪などの 25の店でしていたことが分かったと言いました。
Okay, so 会社は、会社、the company は、1日 or 昨日 yesterday, since today is the second, 東京や大阪など places like Tokyo and Osaka with ya and など telling us places like の25の店で so 25 stores in Tokyo and Osaka or the like でしていた so this was done this する in the past tense ている form this was done in 25 stores in Tokyo and Osaka and other places ことが分かった It was found out. This ことが分かった It was discovered. It is now known, but it was discovered that this was the case. と言いました So the company said, と言いました is what the company said. The company said that they found out that this was being done in 25 stores in Tokyo and Osaka and other places.
消費期限を14時間も遅くしておにぎりを売っていた店もありました。
消費期限を14時間も遅くして So we have 遅い and then we have くする遅くする So this is making something a certain way. So 遅い is late or slow. And then when we use 遅くする, you're making something to be later or slower. So here they're saying the expiration date was made to be 14 hours later. And then this particle mo here is emphasizing that that's a big number. It's not just a couple hours. This is 14 hours that they were making this later. So 消費期限を14時間も遅くして They made it up to 14 hours later. And then おにぎりを売っていた店もありました So they were selling rice balls that had been labeled with dates that were 14 hours later than they should have been. And then this 店もありました Among all of these stores where this stuff was happening, there were also, so 店もある There were stores where they were selling rice balls that had these expiration dates that were 14 hours later than they should have been. So, おにぎりを売っていた、売る and this is 売る to sell. 店もありました。
会社は店で作った食べ物を売ることをやめています。
会社は店で作った食べ物 So the company 会社は店で作った食べ物 food that they have made at the store を売る to sell ことをやめています So this is やめる to stop or to cease in the ています form They have ceased 売ること So 売ること to sell food that they make at stores. So for now, for the time being, none of the mini stop stores, I believe, or at least in these specific locations, but I believe it's all mini stops, they aren't selling food products that are made at the store. So until they get things figured out, that's kind of what they're doing. So thanks for joining me today. That is the article of the day. If you're eating at mini stop, be careful, I guess. I mean, you know, the expiration dates are probably, you know, an extra level of safety. So it probably wasn't a serious, you know, danger that this was being done. But the fact that they're willing to push the rules kind of, you know, it's telling about what kind of things happen behind closed doors at these kind of companies. So personally, I loved Mini Stop because it was like the only conveni that actually had seats that you could sit down. But, you know, and hey, if they fix their problems, I have no problem going back to Mini Stop. But I guess just be careful. ありがとうございました。じゃあまた明日。